Hello and welcome to English II. I'm your online teacher, Miss Bear. We have been looking at Dr. Martin Luther King's letter from Birmingham Jail, and last time that we met we read some poetry by an Iranian poet called Ahmad Shamlou, and we have been looking at this idea of rhetoric and how authors use rhetoric and word choices to develop their ideas and claims. Today we are going to continue King's letter, and we're going to be reading paragraphs 12 through 15. As a reminder, this is the curriculum from Engaged New York, but all that we are doing, all of the lessons and everything from this curriculum for this unit will be linked in each of the YouTube descriptions. As always, at the end of the unit, or at the beginning of the day, I will always tell you what our end of the unit task is. You guys are going to write a well-developed multi-paragraph response to the prompt. Analyze how King develops and refines his claims to advance his purpose. We're going to move on and let's look at today's agenda. I just told you the previous pieces, and we're introducing the lesson agenda now. We will do a masterful reading. We will do some reading and discussing. And of course, we're going to do a quick write, and then we'll look at closing and some homework. What do you guys notice about our agenda today that's missing that has been on every other agenda we've done so far? Are you kidding me? You guys can't tell? Okay, somebody said it. That's right. No homework accountability today because you didn't have any homework last time. So I hope that you enjoyed not having any homework, but here's what I hope you did. You can see all along my set and in my classroom, I have books. I believe in the power of reading. I believe that you should read deep and you should read wide and you should read every single day, because the more that you read, the more that you will open doors and windows of people that you have never experienced before. You will learn empathy. You will learn how to reflect in yourself and see the world differently that's around you. So I hope, with everything in me, I hope that you were doing some reading last night since you didn't have English homework. So let's move on and let's listen to a masterful reading of Dr. Martin Luther King's paragraphs 12 through 15. Now, remember to have your text out so you can annotate. And I will tell you the cool thing, 12 through 15 has everything in this paragraph, in this section, Dr. King does read just as it is written. And so this is going to be from 1631 to 2233. So I'm going to pause here and let you guys listen, and then we'll come back and do some reading and discussing. All right, great job. Okay, so let's look at some of the questions that the curriculum has come up with. And again, I'm going to tell you to get with a partner or a small group, and that's going to be at the discretion of the teacher that's in your classroom, whether or not they want you to have multiple people working together or just one person. But I need you to answer the questions that are on the board behind me about paragraphs 12 and 13. Great job. Let's look at some of the responses to some of these. We're not going to look at all of the questions, but we are going to review a couple of them or a few of them. So in paragraphs 12 and 13, what are King's central claims? Ooh, that's plural. We have two central claims. All right. There are just and unjust laws, and an unjust law is not lawful. Okay. How do the sentences to use the words of Martin Buber, relegating persons to the status of things, refine and develop the sentence that precedes them? It gives the segregator a false sense of superiority. These sentences clarify the segregator's false sense of superiority by comparing the segregator's relationship with segregated persons to their relationship with objects. It also, because segregation reduces the segregated to the status of objects. These sentences strengthen the segregator's false sense of superiority. All right, how does Buber's concept relate to King's supporting claim that any law that degrades human personality is unjust? Segregation degrades human personality by relegating African Americans to the status of things and is, by King's definition, an unjust law. And then how does King use Buber's quote to develop his central claim in paragraph 13? He uses Buber's quote to establish that segregation is not only politically, economically, and sociologically unsound, but it is morally wrong and sinful. How does King's reasoning for why he can urge men to disobey segregation ordinances contribute to his claims? It expands his claims by stating that not only is segregation unjust, but it is right to disobey it because it is morally wrong. And then the last one that we're going to look at is, what is the impact of the structure on the last sentence of paragraph 13? And you can see the repetitive structure emphasizes the differences between two laws that King is advocating for and against, respectively. So it's doing that back and forth, and you've got some repetition there. So remember, we talked about repetition being what? It is a rhetorical device. So here's my reminder to you. Make sure you get your rhetorical impact tracking tool and that you trace that claim and you look at those reasons and evidence and all of that rhetoric and how King is using rhetoric to advance his claims. All right, great job. Let's look at paragraphs 14 and 15 and some questions that go along with it. Great job. Okay, so what I want to do is I'm going to put up some answers that I heard, and this is I've got two different slides, and so I want a partner group, a group that answer these questions to come up, and I want you to kind of go back and forth, and then we're going to do two different partner groups. So they're going to come up and they're going to read these slides, and you guys are going to have a discussion as a class. So watch for the slide, pause it when you guys get finished with the questions that are on the slide. I'll advance and you guys will do the next set of questions with a different partner group. I hope you guys found that as fun as I did. All right, we have one more set of questions that I want another partner group to come up and discuss. Okay, so I'm going to put those up and we're going to do the same thing. Great job. Guys, that was so much fun. I loved the energy. I loved having different people come up because I'm sure you guys are sick of hearing me talk and read through some of these responses. So it's always fun to have that back and forth and let you guys do that as a class. Now, I'm going to remind you, make sure that you are completing your rhetorical impact tracking tool. Go ahead and do that now with your partner, and that's going to be for paragraphs 14 and 15. All right, now you know what time it is. It is time for our quick write. So get out a piece of paper and your pen or pencil, whatever you're more comfortable with, and I want you to delineate King's argument in paragraphs 12 through 15. Assess the validity of his reasoning. Now, while we've been working, I've been having you look at the rhetorical impact tracking tool, but I did not ask you to get the delineation tool out. Actually, it was on there, but I had rhetorical and I meant to put both, and that's okay. But you haven't done that, and so it may be that you work on that delineation tool before you do your quick write. Whatever the teacher in the classroom thinks that you need, but here's the thing about that tool. It's a great way to ask the right questions to lead you to delineate an argument, but you're not going to have that tool when it comes to your end of the year assessment. And if somebody asks you, or if the test asks you to delineate the argument, you're not going to have that tool. So if you don't have that tool now, that's again up to the teacher that's in your classroom. They may want you to just do this quick write without doing the delineation tool, or they may want you to finish that first and then come to that. Either way, it's not up to me. That's up to the teacher that's in your classroom. But you do need to complete this quick write before you move on to your homework assignment. Great job. All right, it is time to close out our lesson and look at the homework. So you are going to reread paragraphs 12 through 15 and use your rhetorical impact tool to analyze King's use of rhetoric in these paragraphs. Guys, if you've been completing this as we've been going through these lessons, then you've already done this, and that's 2 nights in a row that you wouldn't have had homework if you've been doing this as we've been going through. But if you didn't, for whatever reason, you need to complete that again, I keep getting tongue-tied today, that rhetorical impact tool. Make sure that you complete that. And until next time, happy learning.